For the next session, as this one is going to be pretty interesting, by Dr. Pavan Duggal, and the topic that we're going to discuss is data privacy impacts and implication in India and AI implication and benefits. Now, this is going to be something. Well, Dr. Pavan Duggal, the name that we all know of, someone whom we love. He is Advocate Supreme Court of India, expert authority in cyber law, International Conference on Cyber Law, Cyber Crime and Cyber Security, ICCSL, AI Law Hub. I can talk on and on about it. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you clap your hardest for Dr. Pavan Duggal.
How many of you want to go to jail? Oh, one person says he wants to go to jail. Okay. So there's a second person. Fantastic. We all have loose change at home. How much loose change would you normally have? Can you have 50 crores loose change? If you have, anybody has 50 crores loose change? Okay. How about if anybody wants to be hit with a 250 crore rupees fine? Now, these are very uncomfortable questions. Obviously so, because we are now talking about the data protection law. And this particular data protection and AI is now going to open up a Pandora's box. So whatever that we are entertaining, we have to ask ourselves our fundamental question. Are we ready for protecting our jobs? Are we ready for protecting our organizations from a legal standpoint? Why? Because it's very clear that this entire ecosystem is constantly evolving. Roku has recently disclosed a data breach, nothing short, just 15,000 accounts, but these accounts compromised means that exposure. India is becoming a target of increasing cybersecurity attacks, and that's what Palo Alto is telling us, everyone. Nothing new. Well, 17.9 crore rupees is what you will, on an average, spend if you suffer a data breach. So in the last session, we talked about how the said data breach led to virtually 3 months of activity before things restored back to normal. I think they were lucky. The actual time spent to come back to normalcy is far more. I think in the last 2023, we've seen almost a twofold increase in ransomware as we go forward. So why are we talking all this? Why? Because India didn't have a data protection law. The only thing that we had was the Information Technology Act 2000. This is the law that's been with us for the last 24 years. And logically so, this should be the law that should be sailing on for a long period of time. But then the parliament said, sorry, I'm now coming up with a new legislation. This is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. Now, 11th of August becomes an important day. That's the day the parliament passes the law. That's the day the government publishes it in the Gazette. But it's still not implemented. Why? Because one section says the government will have the power to go ahead and implement different provisions of the law at different points of time. So this is all about Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So personal data is very important. Any data about an individual which is identifiable by or in relation to such data. Personal data breach. Now we talked of certain rules in the last session, which talks of any cybersecurity breach. But this one says, no, apart from that, there's going to be a personal data breach. So once that happens, ladies and gentlemen, you will have to then go your additional compliances to the Data Protection Board of India. So earlier life was very simple. In fact, even now life is simple. Why? Nobody asks us any permission. They take our data. They use it any way they want to do it. And I'm clueless. I'm helpless as a data principal. No longer. once this law comes up, every company will have to take prior permission. As they say, you will have to go with the folded hands, give a notice to the data principal saying, hey guys, sir, we want to collect your data for this purposes, please give us permission. And lo and behold, they give you permission, you collect data, you process data, otherwise you don't. So that's for the first time, the empowerment of the data principal, that's of crucial necessity. Now, if the data principal says, sorry, I'm not going to give you permission, then, sorry, that's the end of the matter. The doors have to be closed. You still try to walk on the same data path, you are going to be in a massive problem area as we go forward. Why? Because this law is primarily talking about three broad elements, three broad building blocks. Data principals, people like you and me, to whom the data belongs. Data processors, who are processing data of data principals. And the final is data fiduciary, the legal entity who will decide how your data is going to be processed. So remember, whatever company you're working in, you are definitely a data fiduciary. You can also be a data processor if you are processing data yourself, but there's going to be now more exposure for your companies and top managements. Why? Because you will now have to take appropriate legal basis. Now, in our country, we love Jugaad. The Indian Jugaad School of Management reigns large. But I can tell you in this, maybe your Jugaad will not work. Why? Because the next time you create false records, you actually commit an offense, punishable with 7 years imprisonment and fine. They are now coming up with the Data Protection Board of India. This board is going to tell you do this. It's going to give you advisories. But this board is also being given the power to go ahead and enforce this new data protection law. It's got very huge number of powers. Any data breach happens of personal data, this is the board you'll have to knock the doors to. So hold on. Right now, life was simple. Why? Because any data breach, you report to certain, life is okay. Sorry, after this law, there's a new set of compliances. Because when there's a personal data breach, it's also a cyber security breach. It's also a cyber incident or a cyber security incident. Having said that, therefore, you will have to do your reportings to certain. You will have to do your reportings to the new Data Protection Board of India. Wonderful. Let's celebrate one thing. This law is very, very simple. It's only limited on small areas of personal data. It's not talking about non-personal data, because that's something that the government is already working on, a new legal framework on non-personal data. But the good news is, under the IT Act as of today, you could be sued for unlimited damages by way of compensation. This law says, I'm repealing that section, I'm deleting that section. You will now not be sued for unlimited damages by way of compensation. That's a matter of great sigh of relief to the world at large. But you will have to realize one thing, that the DPDP Act says, I'm only a law in addition to the IT Act. I'm not a special law. So, I'm in addition to the IT Act. The IT Act will continue to be a primary mother legislation as we go forward. Huge number of powers, rights, responsibilities have been given to various stakeholders who will have twin responsibility. So as a company, I'm a company. Under the IT Act, I become an intermediary. Under the DPDP Act, I become a data fiduciary. I become a data processor. And for each of my separate obligations or avatars, I will have new things to follow as we go forward. Further, any individuals of whose data your companies are going to be collecting will have the right to access the data. They will have a right to delete, destroy, correct, or modify the data. You're not satisfied with the order of the Data Protection Board, no problem, go to the TDSAT and ultimately go to the Supreme Court under the law. Because the powers given to the Data Protection Board are pretty vast. But therefore, there's been checks and balances to say, hold on, you can still go and file an appeal in that regard. Now, the beauty, or shall I say the most important reason why this Data Protection Board is coming up is that it will have the power to determine fines on people. Now, this fine is nothing short. It begins at 50 crores minimum, goes up to 250 crores. So your entry ticket is 50 crores. The maximum, 250 crores. Pause. This is per contravention. So if there are 4 contraventions in your organization, your minimum exposure could be 200 crores. Your maximum exposure could be 1,000 crores. Is that the loose change that your companies have? I can tell you 99.9% of the companies will say, I don't have this loose change. Therefore, hey guys, you are the CISOs, you are the CXOs, be better well prepared. Anything happens, we are not going to leave you. That's a message that's coming loud and clear. Now, right now, people are in a celebration mode. Why? Because elections are coming in, the DPDP rules have not yet been launched, so we can sit back and relax. I don't think that's the correct approach. Because, in India, we love cricket. We are fanatic about cricket. And every Indian has got one ultimate dream that he lives. He thinks that he's going to go and bat in the last over of the match. And in the 6 balls, he's going to hit 6 sixes. That's the ultimate dream of all Indian fanatic cricket lovers. I can tell you that dreams are never going to come true under the context of the DPDP Act. Why? Because if you think, let me wait on, after elections, once they come up with rules, I will start preparing. That's a fallacy. Why? Because you may not have enough time. Because once the new government comes in, it's going to be notified, or some portions are going to be notified very, very quickly. Which means that you will say, sorry, you didn't give me time. But they are saying, hold on, we gave you time from 11th of August, 2023. If you have not done your homework, that's your problem, not mine. So that's the reason I think, my law firm, we played up with colors and we said, let's come up with 3 offerings for companies. We do a DPDP red, a DPDP orange, or a DPDP green. You want to do nothing, do a bare minimum, just do your compliances under the DPDP red. You want to be slightly more cautious, do a moderate set of compliances under the DPDP orange. You don't want to take chances, do the DPDP green, because that's the most comprehensive coverage that's happening. Now, this entire ecosystem is getting now complicated by yet another scenario, which is generative AI. And this generative AI is creating a huge new impact, primarily of the data economy that we are currently living in. But clearly, this generative AI is increasing data breaches, the cybersecurity risks, and also risks to data protection. And now this new only fakes have come in, which are the fakes generated for identity by AI to befool or to nullify the KYC norms of the different countries. So if that starts happening, and that's found on your system, lo and behold, just try to imagine what kind of ramifications it could have under the DPDP Act for you. NIST has already warned us that there's going to be security and privacy risks from rapid AI systems deployment. But the problem is, 30th of November 2022, a landmark day, why ChatGPT got launched. Everything came out on a new paradigm altogether. But this particular paradigm has opened up large number of legalities. GPT-4 came, much more relaxed, but paid, more guardrails, but nonetheless, the legal ramifications still continue as we go forward. I think the ability of the machine to generate audio, video, image, and text through its cognitive intelligence throws up new challenges that the law is not yet prepared for. And specifically, the challenge of the intersection between AI and cybersecurity is going to be phenomenal as we go forward. So I think we can't live in silos. AI, cybersecurity, data protection, privacy, they are all going to be interrelated and interconnected with each other. So when they ask you to do your data privacy impact assessment, it's not an act in luxury, it's an act in necessity. Because more and more countries are saying, I'm also going to make your AI liable under my cybersecurity laws on different parts of the world. Primarily because of the cybersecurity ramifications of AI, both for protection and preservation of cybersecurity and also for the purposes of breaching the cybersecurity of networks. The good news, it can help me identify vulnerabilities. The other day I was giving this command to this program and I said, look, give me 10 new ways of how you as AI can bypass the cybersecurity of AI. And with a slight bit of prompt command engineering, I was not surprised they actually gave me 10 different ways of how AI was actually determining how its cybersecurity could be bypassed by humans. So imagine now the new scenario when you are on the dark net, where cybercrime as a service powered by artificial intelligence has emerged as a de facto norm. And in a scenario like this, it's celebration time for cyber criminals, for cybersecurity breachers, and no wonder this new term has come in called AI crimes, which is a kind of a new emerging discipline under the broad cybercrime umbrella as we are actually going forward. This is going to constantly keep on increasing. Let me tell you a small story. 3 weeks back, in the NCR region of Delhi, there's a young couple. They got a 7-year-old daughter, and the daughter goes to school, but they get a school taxi to pick her up from home. So both these are working guys, working professionals. And lo and behold, they leave the daughter in the morning at 7 o'clock with a taxi. And about 8 o'clock, the father gets a call. The call is from a kidnapper who says that they have actually gone ahead and kidnapped their daughter. And they are saying that, look, just give us 15 lakh rupees in 15 minutes. You don't give us 15 lakh rupees, and on the 16th minute, we'll kill your daughter. They don't believe it. They want to talk to their daughter. They are made to talk to the daughter. The daughter is crying, howling, "Father, come and protect me. They are going to kill me." They try negotiating for next 13 minutes that, please, we don't have the kind of money. Please give us less money. They did not budge. At the 14th minute, the father decides to pay. 15 lakhs gets paid before the 15th minute. They talk again to the girl. The girl is now safe. She wants to be picked up. A location is given. They start driving to the location. On the way, the father believes, it's time, it's happened to me. It can happen to others as well. So let me call the school principal. Calls the school principal and says, this has happened. The school principal says, sir, what are you talking? Your daughter has been with us since the morning. So here was a classical case of an AI crime where the voice samples of the daughter was used for the purposes of defrauding these people of 15 lakh rupees. They reported to the police, but by that time, we could not do much beyond. So I think the important issue will be the cyber security of generative AI. Before I was coming inside the hall, I was asked a question by one of the cameras who said, look, shall the CXOs ban ChatGPT? I said, sorry, the age of banning has gone. Whether you like it or not, these technologies are here to stay. So better is, how can we empower our usage, a more constructive use of this? So therefore, let's start using AI as a double-edged sword, both for positive and also for negative purposes. Let's try to remember that while the law on AI is evolving, the rights, duties, and responsibilities of AI stakeholders has begun to start getting crystallized as we talk. And then it's not just only AI, its connection with various emerging technologies like metaverse, IoT, blockchain, quantum is going to open up far more new frontiers that we'll have to be more careful of. And now with post-COVID, we have already declared the death of perimeter security, no problem. But with the edge security coming in and its marriage with the AI, data protection, you're actually sitting on a time bomb. You don't exactly know when are you going to be hit by the next legal exposure. Therefore, I will encourage all your companies, please come in and take your statutory protection from legal liability under the statutory exemption given under the Information Technology Act 2000. Well, India is not doing anything on AI does not mean the world is not doing anything. We already have now European Union, which has come up with a new law on AI called the EU AI Act. New York has already come up with a new legislation on AI, asking for mandatory audits to minimize risk or exposures towards discrimination. China, by the way, on 15th of August 2023, has come up with the world's first extensive legislation on generative AI. So India is being called upon to please start acting, taking action, more so with now, 15 days back, these new sets of parameters of rules being actually passed by the European Union. So I think till such time that doesn't happen, we will have to still go back to the Indian cyber law to get our protections. The Indian position, good news is that the government wants to come up with a new legal framework on AI. They are talking of a new Digital India Act, which could have a section on AI. But I think I'm of the firm opinion, mere section, a mere chapter in a law will not suffice. You will have to have dedicated new legal frameworks. Why? because this is what's happened. In July 2023, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, has launched its Super Intelligence Alignment Project. This says, give us 4 years, and in the next 4 years, we are now going to develop a new super intelligence that will supersede human intelligence. And therefore, if it's only got a question of 4 or 5 years before they go ahead and supersede us, I think the time to start acting is right now. Therefore, the need for adopting cybersecurity as a way of life, as a culture, becomes even more predominant. World over, there's a huge policy vacuum. No international cyber law, no international cybersecurity law. So countries are saying, let me start coming up with my national cybersecurity laws. So these are how these laws are coming up. India, by the way, still doesn't have a dedicated law on cybersecurity. Let's quickly realize that we are now walking into a new cyber world order. In this new cyber world order, there is so many new things happening. But then cybercrime will be a part of our day-to-day lives. Cybersecurity breaches will be our daily companion. And the golden age of cybercrime has already begun. Therefore, all said and done, when I'm talking about generative AI, I talk of cybersecurity, I talk of data protection. All I can say is, my time to sleep has gone. My time to be a spectator has gone. The time has come that I will have to start taking action. Because legal jurisprudence is evolving. At the Artificial Intelligence Law Hub, we are at Delhi, we are actually monitoring how the legal jurisprudence is evolving on AI very, very quickly. I have this platform called cyberlawuniversity.com. I was only in a very small area on cyber law. I said, who will be interested? So I put up 37 courses online. They were on cyber laws, cyber crime, cyber security, blockchain, IoT. And I forgot about it for 5 years. And I was surprised that in the next 5 years, you had more than 30,500 professionals from 174 countries doing these courses. All basically the figures are telling us the need for self-help, self-improvement, and self-education has to be far more relevant right now. So in this context, let's not play with fire. Let's not wait to keep on riding on our lucks, because we may always never be lucky all the time in the entire life. We are going to be hit. One hit, and the company could go into liquidation. One hit, and your job could be gone. One hit, and your reputation could go for a 6. Whether it's a hit of a data protection, whether it's a hit of a personal data breach, or whether it's going to be hit of a cyber security breach. So we are living in very strange times. Therefore, the only message that I want to give is protect yourself. You know, you're about to go out, it's going to rain. Carry a good raincoat. Carry a good umbrella. The umbrella or the raincoat is not going to guarantee you that you will not get wet, but will give you a substantial satisfaction that you may not get wet. Please wear a good fire suit as you jump into the fire. These are very, very exciting times, but very challenging times as well. Be careful, adopt due diligence, care, caution as the only mantra for the purposes of moving forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, and I would like to congratulate you for your book. It has been doing so well in the market and has been perceived so well. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Pavan Duggal for us. May we please request Mr. Naveen to please come over, and Navneet, may we please request you to honor him with this memento. A renowned authority on cyber law with us today. A man who has been in technology, such an extensive and vast experience as a practicing advocate, an author and a thought leader, Pavan Duggal sir. Many, many congratulations, and what a wonderful session.